Hello guys, welcome to the channel. On this channel I'll be doing power scaling. I'll be power scaling different animes, manuals, mangas, and some cartoons that I'm interested in. In this video, being the first video, I'll be doing I might divide this video into two. I'll be doing power scaling 101 where I'll describe what I understand about power scaling, how to power scale, the most important things to consider before power scaling, the things I don't agree with in the power scaling community, things I won't be using while power scaling, and the names of the series, that is the mangas, manhwas, animes, and some cartoons that I will be power scaling on this channel. Anyways, let's go down to it. So what exactly is power scaling? Power scaling is simply wanting or finding out how strong a character is. That's just it. That's the simplest explanation and definition anybody can give you if you want to understand power scaling. Power scaling is finding out how strong, fast, or durable, or how broken the character is in a work of fiction. So just simply finding out how hard the character hits, how fast the character can run, can dodge, can jump, how high they can jump, how much they can take before they fall down. That is like how much impact their body can take before they fall down, or their defenses, their barriers, and the rest can take before they fall down. That's literally all power scaling is about. So, anyways, the power scaling community recently has been very horrible, very, very horrible. Everybody's just agenda driven. Everybody wants their favorites to become the strongest. Also, they can beat Goku because, let's be honest, that's always the end goal for anybody wanting their favorite series. They want to beat Goku. But anyways, I'm just going to get down straight to business. So before you start power scaling, or before I start power scaling, there are three things I consider as the most important before I start power scaling: the fits, the context surrounding said fits, and the author's intent for said character or the verse or that exact fit. What is the author's intent in that space? Or you can call it narrative. What's the narrative around that fit? Anyways, for fits, which I've been saying fits a lot, that you might be thinking I have a fit fetish. I do not have a fit fetish, please. But anyways, feats are simply actions that are shown, actions that you see, actions that you can see. In a sense, if you see me lifting a car, that's a feat. If you see me punching a wall and it shatters, that's a feat. If you see me running faster than a cheetah, that's a feat. Of course, I can't run faster than a cheetah, but I'm sure you get the picture of what I'm trying to say. Now, those are feats. But if you heard from someone that I can lift a car, that's not a feat. It's just a statement. It's empty, null, and void because you can't really quantify it because you didn't see it. You don't know if it's true, if it's false, if there's even a slight, a 1% possibility that I can actually lift a car. But if you saw me doing it and you heard it later on, you say yes, he can leave that in because you saw me performing that action. So that is a feat. Most people nowadays ignore feats and just run around the statements. Like, come on, guys. We all know if I told you that I'm a billionaire, you say get the fuck out of here. But I should agree with you when you say you are a billionaire. Nah, like, come on, guys. We all know this. Feats are literally the most important thing in power scaling. We can beat around the bush however we want it, but without any scene action, you can't actually scale a character or a verse, no matter how hard you try. If you are just going by statements alone, all you'll be doing is simply you be basing off how powerful or fast or durable that verse is off head canon, off your assumptions and imaginations, which isn't really ideal in if you want to perform cross-verse battles because you really need to show that this character can do A, B, C, D in order to put them against another character. Anyways, context. Now, context is simply all statements, sceneries, and every single thing. Let's round it up to every single thing surrounding an action, quote unquote, if it. Every single thing, the statements, the actions of people around, that is things that happened before the feat was performed, every single thing that can help make you understand said fit better. So, and a very good example of this is if there is a feat of someone blowing up a mountain per se, the context behind said feat now will be knowing if said character was weak before he or she performed that feat. That is, if they were under the influence of a debuff by an external source, or they were heavily injured before they performed said feat. If they were armed by their emotions or by an external force, those kind of things are the context surrounding that feat. If the mountain is made of cotton candy, or if it's made of steel, made of diamond, if it's made of, so all these things are the context surrounding said feat. They help you understand the feat better. Most people ignore this and just, well, it's a mountain. No, it's not just a mountain. It's a cotton candy mountain. It can't be the same as destroying a stone mountain. It can't be the same as destroying a diamond mountain. Just because its size is a mountain or it's called a mountain doesn't make it fit mountain level. You have to know the context surrounding that fit. Just because the character blew it up doesn't mean that character is mountain level, because you have to also take note of arms, nerves, injuries, and all those kind of things. So that is the context surrounding. That's what context is, and I consider it the second most important thing. Then the third most important is author's intent or narrative. What is the author's intent? Does the author want you to consider the character at that moment as mountain level? You need to think of that. Does the author want you to consider the character at that moment as capable of destroying a mountain? A lot of people ignore this part. They completely ignore the narrative. Is the story saying at that exact moment, said character is capable of destroying that mountain on their own, on their own? Because this is very, very, very important. It's also important, especially when you are doing inverse scaling, relating with characters that have no fits and they've literally shown absolutely nothing. A prime example is Dragon, Monkey the Dragon from One Piece. The only thing we've seen him do is stopping Smoker from killing Luffy far back in East Blue, which is like, you can't just say, well, that means Dragon is stronger than East Blue Smoker. That's weird as hell, because Dragon, the author's intent for a Dragon is he is a powerful character among the top five at the very least. That's the author's intent. Oda's intent is for us to see Dragon as a top class, powerful fighter within the verse. And how has he done this? By the portrayal, through the narrative, through what other characters say, through Dragon's own position in the story. Dragon is the leader of the revolutionary. He has people like Sabo under him, people like Kuma were under him, and still is, for those of us reading One Piece. Kuma, Sabo, Karasu, holy fuck, Ivankova, and some others. They are all under him, and we see Sabo holding his own against an admiral using a martial art called Dragon Claw, which we know Dragon trained him. Dragon and Kuma trained him how to fight. So it should be a martial art created by Dragon, which signifies he should be stronger than Sabo, who can hold his own against an admiral. Already creating the picture of Dragon should be above admirals. Then you have his position within the story, the world most wanted criminal, the world worst criminal, whatever you want to call it. That already places him at a very high place in the world of One Piece. So the author's intent here is that Dragon is a top class fighter and a strong character, not just someone with high position, that is the leader of the revolutionary. Because as the leader, he's not just leading them to win an election, he's leading them to win a battle against the world government, an organization that sits above the Marines, above the fleet admiral. They literally call the Marines their dogs. So you can imagine how strong someone who wants to lead another group to face the bosses of the Marines should be. So the author's intent there is for us to see Dragon as a top tier character within the verse, power wise and authority wise. So author's intent is very important. Then In case of cross-verse battles, that was an inverse battle. In case of cross-verse battles, when you want to take a character out of their verse, the author's intent is also important. Like I said earlier, does the author want you to see said character as capable of destroying a mountain at that point in the story, or you are just carrying mountain level and placing it on top a character because you like that character? A prime example of people misinterpreting an author's intent is from Bleach. Aizen, when he was talking about 2D beings being unable to perceive 3D beings, he wasn't talking literally that he had now become a 4D being, that 3D beings cannot perceive him because humans can't perceive him and soul reapers can't perceive him and stuff like that. He was referring to and being transcendent. Yeah, he also said that being transcendent, but what he was referring to was he has transcended the limits of a soul reaper. He didn't say he is now a 4D being. He wasn't objective. He was using the perceiving of higher beings by lower beings as a means to explain what he has become, not that he is now a higher dimensional being. Instead, he has reached a level where soul reapers can't reach. And Kubo, luckily enough, has addressed this in a Q&A, which I found recently, and I was like, yes, he addressed this. What Aizen transcended was the boundaries of a soul reaper. So he became something higher than a soul reaper, not a higher dimensional being. Same for Ichigo. Ichigo became something higher than a soul reaper. So they didn't become higher dimensional beings. So I don't know why Bleach fans started going around and spreading this stupid lie of, well, Aizen is 4D, Ichigo who beat him is 5D, so they can beat Goku. Like, bro, chill out. They are not beating Krillin in any day of the week, even while he's sleeping. I don't think anybody in Bleach can harm Krillin. So let's chill on the 4D, 5D bullshit. That's just serious. No, I won't call it a misinterpretation. I think they are doing that shit on purpose because the author never intended for you to see Aizen as a higher dimensional being, because just in the next few chapters, he had Aizen boasting about destroying a mountain, a higher dimensional being. Really? Boasting about destroying a mountain? Like, what are we doing? Like, and we know that is the author's intent because up until that moment in the story, no one has performed a feat of destroying a mountain completely. So you can see the author's intent was not for him to be a higher dimension, but for him to be at a level no other soul reaper has reached. We haven't seen that feat being performed by any other soul reaper. So although it wasn't his feat, it was actually Ichigo who blew up the mountain. But you get what I'm saying. Anyway, so these three things are what I consider as the most important things one must take before, or yes, before power scaling any character or verse. The feats, the context surrounding said feats, and the author's intent. Does the author intend for that character to be that strong at that moment? So now that we've tackled those three things, I know a lot of people are not going to be happy with what I said concerning the author's intent due to the eyes and bullshit. But anyways, I said what I said. The next part of this video is going to be on the 5 important categories you need to take note of when power scaling a character that is taking them for cross-verse battles. The 5 important categories, which are attack potency slash destructive capacity, although that's unimportant, but attack potency, the durability of said character, their speed, their hacks, and their battle IQ. Attack potency, durability, speed, hacks, and battle IQ. I know stamina could be involved in this, but the thing is, the stamina of said characters is kind of null and void when they are fighting certain characters that bypass durability, characters with hacks that can instantly kill them. So, like, what's the point of your stamina if you are war level fighting a multiversal being? If you can fight for 1,000,000 years, but you are war level, and someone who can only fight for 1 hour is multiversal, like, your stamina is not helping you. So I consider these five categories as the most important. Even battle IQ is kind of weak among these, but at least with battle IQ, you can tackle around some certain abilities, that is broken abilities, hacks of said characters, which can and find a way to win. But your stamina is not going to find a way to win for you no matter what, but your battle IQ can. So these things determine who wins a fight. Your battle IQ can determine if you can win a fight. Your hacks can determine if you win a fight. Your durability can determine if you win a fight. Your speed and your attack potency. Attack potency. Let's start with attack potency. What exactly is attack potency? I'm just going to read the definition from Versus Battle Wiki, then explain it in a simpler way and how I will be doing it on the channel. That is in a way that will be understandable by literally everybody that will be watching this video. So versus battle wiki, honestly speaking, I do not like using versus battle wiki. They are one of the biggest reasons why the current power scaling community is dog shit right now, and why everybody's agenda driven, because most people don't even bother to read a story anymore, a work of fiction. They don't want to read or do research by themselves. They just run to versus battle wiki and automatically use whatever is written there. So whether the character is downplayed or wanked to whatever is written there, that is what they carry and run around. But I don't usually do that. I prefer reading the piece of fiction by myself, looking at the feats myself, looking at the context, the author's intent, looking at everything by myself, and deciding where a character should be or the verse should be, rather than running around with what somebody else wrote, which is literally what is killing the basking community right now. But anyways, let's just using their definitions of certain things make things easier, but I'll still give my own definition that's easier to understand by people. So the attack potency definition versus battle wiki gave is an alternative term for destructive capacity, which destructive capacity by them too is a term used to determine the amount of damage a character can produce. It is normally the deciding factor of versus matches along with speed. It is measured in units of energy, that is joules, tons of TNT, and the rest. Destructive capacity is literally how much destruction was caused by an attack, whether it be building level, wall level, street level, mountain, island, country, continental, multi-continental, moon level, planetary, star, and above. So, like, the destruction that can be, you can visually see the destruction. That is DC, destructive capacity, from an attack or multiple attacks. The range, the area. So this is usually based on the area per se. Why AP is not based on the area? Because from their definition, AP is an alternative term for destructive capacity, which has more direct meaning. Destructive capacity that an attack is equivalent to. So what they are saying is a character with a certain degree of attack potency does not necessarily need to cause destructive feats on that level, but can cause damage to characters that can withstand such forces. As such, it isn't proof of low attack potency if a character's attacks only cause a small amount of destruction. What this is trying to explain is simple. What attack potency simply is if you remember, like back when we were small, if you are someone that was deep into DC and Marvel cartoons, comics, remember when a character is fighting another character, we see that like character A causes an explosion that blows up a city, and character B is able to beat character A without blowing up the city. That means character B is stronger than city level per se, because he has the attack potency to beat someone that can withstand a city level explosion. That is literally the explanation. So attack potency in simple terms is literally having the energy output, that is the power, the strength to damage somebody, capable of withstanding serious damages per se, or capable of exerting a certain amount of energy in an attack in an attack. That is one very important thing that people always ignore. So in a sense, if I can survive blowing up a mountain and somebody is capable of damaging me, that person should be from mountain level to above, depending on who else the person beats or what else the person destroys. But since AP doesn't really show what the person destroys, it's not depend on who else the person beats and all that kind of thing. A perfect example of AP is from explanation for AP is from Sanji versus Bon Clay in One Piece. When Bon Clay used his swan shoe to burst a hole in the wall, Sanji pointed out that there are no cracks around the hole. Then Bon Clay explained it, saying when enormous power is directed at one point, it doesn't cause extra damage. That's literally what attack potency is. Power directed at one point, it won't cause extra damage because that's like waste of the energy used in that attack. So attack potency is literally like an attack that is pointed exactly on one particular point, so it doesn't spread around, causing damage everywhere. Different stories are heavily attack potency based, while some they are destructive capacity based. So it just depends. You need to check for those kind of things. But AP, perfect example of AP will be like Goku in Dragon Ball. We've never really seen Goku blow up a planet. Let's be honest. But does that mean he's not planet level? No. We see him beat Frieza that has blown up a planet. We see him beat Boo that has blown up, that according to the past said Blue blew up a solar system or a galaxy, I think. I have to reread Dragon Ball. He's beat he has damaged Boo, he has damaged people that has blown up those type of things and survived those type of explosions. So he's easily at those levels of power. We've seen him shake the whole universe 7 with his punch. So using Newton's third law, for every given action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. That means he can withstand that level of attack. We'll get there in durability. But what this is telling us that his AP, even though he doesn't really show destruction, his AP is up there because he's able to match people that destroy those things or beat people that destroy those things and survive those type of explosions and destruction. Dragon Ball is a very good place to get AP from off Goku because Goku doesn't destroy things. He mainly is a even back in the OG Dragon Ball, we see a Master Roshi blow up a moon. We see Piccolo later on blowing up a moon. But Goku doesn't blow up a moon. He doesn't have a feat of blowing up a city. He doesn't have I don't think he even has a feat of blowing up a building. I think he has. I have to reread Dragon Ball. I think he does have a feat of blowing up a building. So imagine, does that mean he's not above building level? No. But because of attack potency, we can easily gauge where Goku is because he's able to beat or match characters that are able to cause this level of destruction or survive those levels of explosions. So that's literally what attack potency is. Then we have speed. Speed. I don't know if I should. Oh yeah, there's one other thing in attack potency I need to address. If you take a look at Battle Wiki, the versus Battle Wiki, they also mentioned that remember that attack potency is the measure of destructive capacity of an attack, and as such is measured via its energy damage equivalent. Hence, characters that destroy mountains or islands are not automatically mountain or island level, especially if they are small. The attack potency depends on the energy output of a single attack, not the area of effect of that attack. Now, there are two things I want to point out from this because a lot of people like using area of effect to downscale things. Like they just mentioned, it is not dependent on the area of effect of that attack, AOE. So some One Piece fans, a lot of One Piece fans like saying the admirals are holding back because they are not destroying the environment because their ability to destroy. No, from they cannot be holding back in the sense of their attack potency. What they are holding back is their destructive capacity because their ability, they are fighting on a place they are not meant to destroy. Holding back doesn't mean like just because they are not using like Aokiji is not using Ice Age that literally freezes the whole continent, or sometimes he has frozen an ocean of a continent's worth of ocean before. So him not doing that in a fight doesn't make him doesn't mean he's holding back. That makes no sense because he has AP from his punches, from his spear, his sword, those kind of things. Those are pinpoint attacks. So he can be going all out but not causing island to continental level destructions because that's not the point of AP. His AP is different from his DC. So trying to say someone is weaker just because they are not destroying a whole area makes no sense. What you're meant to look at is their attack potency. Who are they fighting against? What, where do the person they are beating, where does that person skill and those type of things? That is the first thing. The second thing is it is dependent on the energy output of a single attack. Now, this part is what pisses me off about attack potency. I know I've been talking so much about attack potency. I'll speed run through the others. Uh, this part, single attack. Now, AP is gotten from a single attack. Most people ignore this shit a lot. They they use different stupid shit like creation feat. That's not an attack, it's creation. It's literally an ability. Because there are people that can create shit, but their blows can't even break a wall. Like their body is not durable, their own attack is not as strong as the or as doesn't cause as much damage in comparison to the things they can create. So it's not just any energy output. That is the problem I have with a lot of people. When they are power scaling, they just any energy output at all. They just scale it to attack potency. No. Because you have the energy to create a universe, you're automatically universal level. That's bullshit. AP should be based, it's usually called attack potency. It's based on an attack. So it should be based on an attack from the start to the finish. So people vying off and saying, well, he created, no, creation is not AP. AP is strictly attack. So a single attack, that is how you get attack potency. Destructive capacity can be gotten from multiple attacks. That's like a barrage of attacks, stuff like that. But AP is a single attack that can damage someone, that can withstand a certain amount of hit or explosion per se. So being able to use a single attack to damage a mountain level character should make you to be in that ranges or higher if the damage cost is fatal. So yeah, that's all on attack potency. Then speed. Speed is literally just how fast something is going. You don't need dictionary definition for speed. Everybody knows speed. Speed is just how fast a thing is moving. That's just it. How fast is something moving? So there are different styles of speed. If you check the versus battle wiki, you see a lot of them, but I will be sticking to using Mach. That is Mach, which is used for sound, calculating speed of sound for my power scaling on this channel. So I will still use some of the terms battle versus battle wiki use so as to be easier for people to understand. But like the calculations I'll be doing will all be in Mach, from sonic to supersonic to hypersonic to light speed. I will do the calculations in Mach, so it will be the numbers will not be too big. So I'll keep the calculation. Even the number for light speed in Mach is 800 and something thousand, Mach 800 and something thousand, 820 something K, which is still big, but is at least the number is manageable in comparison to using meters per second. So I'll be using Mach for the calculations for speed. Then one thing I need to address in speed is light speed. Everybody wants their character to be faster than light, but yeah, let's just be real. Light speed is very, very complicated. Yeah, this may take time again, like attack potency, but I'll try my best to be fast as light. Now, obviously, I am not as fast as light. That was an idiomatic expression to explain how fast just trying to say I'm going to talk faster, or but that's the problem. A lot of power scalers now, just because I said I'm going to try to talk as fast as light, or I'm going to say something metaphorically with a simile, which is using a simile as I didn't really mean what I was saying, because I didn't mean it literally, because I can't literally move at the speed of light. I can't talk at the speed of light. But some power scalers now, because they just head light, automatically they grant that character light speed. Like, bro, no, that's not how that shit works. You have to be certain that the term light speed is used. One, if the term light speed is not used for something, don't even categorize it under light speed. Two, if it's not mechanically light is like from how do I explain this to make it easier for people to understand? From tech, there is laser beams from technology, from laser beams from tech. That is like laser cannons per se, those laser torches and the rest, laser beams from tech, because they are laser beams from characters that are not actually light per se. They are heat beams, they are not light beams. There's a very big difference. They call it a laser, yes, but it's just heat beams. They are not actually light beams. So it has to be from tech. Those type of the term light speed needs to be mentioned. A laser beam from tech. This is the best way to get light speed. With in all honesty, if you want to be genuine, just because something is called light doesn't make it light speed, because it has to have the property of light first, that is being able to reflect off mirrors and the likes, refracted by water and some other things like that. Then photons, it's if they say something like the Earth's ability is made of photons. Now, if it has the term photons, light particles, that means that thing should be light speed. It has to be natural light, is what I'm trying to say. So a lot of people grant light speed to things that aren't really light speed, things that go against how light works. Especially when they don't even, there is no single part of the story where the term light speed is mentioned. Yes, I'm referring to Bleach. There's nowhere in Bleach where the term light speed itself is assigned to any attack or any feat. So I don't know why Bleach fans think their verse is light speed, but it is what it is. But yeah, that's just it. Light speed. You need the term light speed attached to something for you to consider it light speed. Or maybe the author gives like a number per se. In this sense, now the author says, wow, that's a character says, wow, he was moving at Mach 800 and something thousand, which is the speed of light. Someone mentions he's moving at 60% speed of light. That is not light speed, that is like relativistic. Then those type of terms that are being used to explain light speed also help. So if there is number given for the speed, like in JJK where the author literally wrote Mach 3, that is the course Naoya was moving at Mach 3. People don't want to accept it because it weakens JJK speed scaling, but it is what it is. It's the author's intent. They are meant to be that fast at that moment of the story. So yeah, that's just my thing with light speed. It has to be mentioned, or it has to be natural light from either tech or from the sun or a natural light source per se, not flames. There's this stupid argument I heard one time of like dodging fire makes you light speed because fire emits light. Like, bro, what? I know it sounds crazy as hell, man, but it is what it is. Some people just want to wank their favorite characters up to sky heaven. At the end of the day, like I said earlier, it's just to beat Goku. Then durability. Now I'm going to speed run this. Durability is just how much can a character take? How much can something take before it breaks down? How much attack, how much energy can it take? How much damage can someone, a character withstand? A building, something withstand before it breaks down? Now, AP and durability are closely linked when the AP is done from the person's physical body. The example I gave earlier, Goku in Universe 7 with his blow. So now you can, using Newton's third law, you can easily get his durability to that level due to the fact that it was his physical body that almost destroyed Universe 7 and his body was able to withstand that energy. So hence, his durability should be on that same level. But that's the thing. If it's not from a physical standpoint, we say like an energy beam, a laser beam, a magical attack that is like casting spells separate from the body, you can't just automatically give that person's AP as their durability. You have to check their own durability. A perfect example of this is King from Seven Deadly Sins. King has insane attacks. Him and Glock are the Fairy Kings. They have this attack called Sunflower that can literally vaporize mountains. But King is literally stated in the story, not just stated, he's shown to be physically weak. Like physically, he's weaker than a cat. King lost a fight to a cat. That is how physically weak he is. But with magic, he's beyond mountain level. He's insanely strong. So you see, those kind of things, you need to take note of them. Because durability is not always one-on-one with attack potency, except the attack potency is gotten from the person's own physical attacks. That is done by their physical body, their kicks, their punch, their headbutts, their butt and the likes. But yeah, that is really the best way to get durability. Then there are also certain things you need to take note for durability because some characters have immunity to attacks. Like Luffy now, he's 100% immune to blunt force attacks due to his characteristics of being a rubber man. So there is that kind of character. Now blunt force don't they've not shown any limit to his blunt force in the story. So there's no reason to not see it as 100% immunity because that has been a running theme in One Piece. That's been a running theme in One Piece from the very beginning of the story. His blunt force immunity from the very beginning of the story. Luffy's blunt force immunity has been a very crucial part of his character. Then we have characters that are immune to all weapons made by man, like in the current strange fake anime that is currently ongoing. There's a character that is completely immune to all weapons made by man. So man-made weapons can't damage him. So obviously your fist should be able to damage him if you're strong enough. And weapons not from earth per se, that is not made by man, that is godly weapons, holy weapons. Well, some holy weapons are made by man, so as long as the weapon is made by man, it won't damage him. So that's kind of he has a level of durability that is locked on a particular rule, unlike Luffy that is just completely immune to blunt force. Is immune to man-made weapons. Those type of durabilities are kind of weird. So you need to also check for those type of durabilities before you put those characters in a versus battle. Because imagine carrying that character and having them fight somebody like any character that uses man-made weapons. The fight will just be pointless and one-sided. No matter how strong that other character is, as long as they're using a weapon made by man, they will never damage these guys too easily. You need to always check those type of things. One of the best durability feats so far I've seen in mangas right now is from Ban from Seven Deadly Sins. He literally tanked space cutting ability, which makes no sense because that is durability negation. Space cutting is durability negation. Literally cutting space. He tanked it. I know it sounds stupid. A lot of people are not reading Four Nights of Apocalypse, so, which I won't hold it against anybody. But yeah, Ban in the recent chapters tanked space cutting ability from a character that he slashes cut space.
Hacks. Hacks are cheat abilities or broken abilities that can turn the tide of a battle in an instant, preventing loss or granting instantaneous win to a character or a group of characters. So, like a broken ability that is an ability that cheats a fight or cheats death or cheats for a said character, enabling them to win a fight automatically or giving them the upper hand in a fight or preventing them from losing the fight. That is not necessarily win, but prevents them from losing the fight. That's like immortality per se. That's a broken ability. In a sense, you can't kill the person, so you can't really win the fight if that's the only way you fight against them. Except you have like sealing abilities or BFR, which is battlefield removal ability based abilities, you can't really win that fight. So immortality is a form of hacks, is a broken ability, a cheat ability that enables said character to not lose a fight, except there is a sealing type of ability there or a battlefield removal or maybe existence erasure. Though depending on the level of immortality, existence erasure may not work. So yeah, the thing is, the best examples of hacks are like Asta's anti-magic. Asta's anti-magic is a hack in the sense of he's in a verse where magic is the prominent abilities or power system per se. And like, well, I know there is the explanation that Asta's anti-magic with his sword, he cancels out the magic, but the force still remains. When he cuts it, it just cuts the magic. It doesn't really remove the force of the magic. That is the force of the attack itself. So he will still get hit by the force. So, but he also has the sword, the blunt side of the sword can, or rather, the face of the sword can repel attacks. So, like, still a very very big cheat code in a verse where magic is literally everybody's way of attacking. So yeah, anti-magic is a very serious axe in this verse. Another very good example of a broken ability is Bounce Snatch. Bound from Seven Deadly Sins, his snatch ability or magic per se is very very broken in the sense of he has different abilities under his main ability because his main magic is snatch. Then there are different abilities from his snatch. He has physical snatch, fox hunts, and zero signs. It's all based on a criminal. Like his whole ability is based on a thief. So the ability to steal things and whatnot. So it goes beyond broken in the sense of he can snatch people's physical stats, that is your speed, your strength, and when he does that, he drains the person. So if he's stealing your physical stats, that is your strength and your speed, you become weaker the more he takes from you. So it's not just like something of he's taking it so that stuff you will start sharing it per se, but in the sense of he's completely draining you of your own stats. So you become weaker and weaker and weaker until you're like weaker than a frail old man. So that's a very broken ability, and there's literally no counter to it because we know Melchiodas who has full counter can't actually use full counter against it as it's an ability that isn't physical. It's literally like telekinesis. Then it can also snatch your weapons from your hand, can snatch many things. Then with Fox Hunt, he can take out people's organs literally from their body while ignoring their durability. So that is his whole shit is just busted. It completely ignores durability. Taking out somebody's heart while ignoring their durability is insane. And we know he does ignore durability because when he fought Garland and Melascola, who were way stronger than him, he was able to still snatch their hearts. So it's not even a thing of being stronger than him will protect you from his ability. No. He literally also stole Meliodas' physical stats, who is above him. So yeah, I would say Snatch is a very broken ability across fiction, not just in Seven Deadly Sins, due to how it completely ignores durability. It can't really be countered, and being stronger than him doesn't prevent him from taking your physical stats or snatching your organs from you, especially your heart, because most characters that are living and breathing needs a heart. So needs a heart or a brain or something in their body, and he usually searches for that shit in their body, which is weird. But yeah, you can't counter it. It literally has no counter. The only person that countered it was the Demon King due to how his own ability works. So there is that. So those type of abilities, that's literally what hacks are. Then there are some things we also need to talk note about hacks. Some hacks do not work outside a certain verse. That is, they are based on that verse power system. You can't really take that broken ability outside. Perfect example is domain expansions from Jujutsu Kaisen. Domain expansions only work particularly on characters with cost energy, which even in JJK, their Japanese citizens are the main people with cost energy. So domain expansion always works on them. It's a key factor of the story due to Maki Zenin and Toji Zenin, who have absolutely zero cost energy, so they can easily walk in and walk out of a domain. Then there is Genjutsu from Naruto, which works based on controlling the chakra flow of another character. And if you can control your own chakra flow or have somebody else, an exterior source that forces chakra into you, you can cancel out genjutsu. And we know chakra is unique to the Naruto universe. No other verse has chakra as their power system except the Naruto universe, which consists of Naruto, Naruto Shippuden, and Boruto. So only that verse actually has chakra. making genjutsu, which is done by manipulating someone's chakra, useless outside of the Naruto universe. Then you have stuff like anti-magic too. Anti-magic, yeah, people easily just say, well, if the verse is using magic, Asta can negate it. But the problem with that is outside of Black Clover, where their magic is based on mana, the type of mana is different across different verses. Like in Magai, the anime or manga, depending on which one you've read or seen. Magai, their mana is not actually the same as that of Black Clover. So their magic spell is gotten from Rook. That's the pronunciation of their type of mana. They say you have different other verses that their magic system is based on something else. It's not always mana. Some their magic system is literally based on drawing spells on the ground, like Fullmetal Alchemist, which alchemy is literally a branch of magic, but is based on give and take. So those type of verses, Asta can't really negate. His anti-magic is useless there because their magic is not based on the same type of mana Black Clover's magic is based on. So those type of things you need to take note of them. Then you have Battle IQ. Honestly speaking, there's not much to say concerning battle like you just watch any Shikamaru battle in Naruto. You understand if you have a full understanding of battle like yeah. When it comes to battle like I have Shikamaru as like among the top three battle like you characters in mangas, animes, manuals, and probably cartoons too, because he's usually the weaker person in any fight he is, but he comes out on top because he has insane battle like that is what I was talking about before. Battle like you can still grant you a winning opportunity, but your stamina can't if you're fighting someone stronger than you. So the thing is to just ensure your character, the person you are power scaling, you check their battle IQ if it will be useful in the fights you are putting them against another character, especially when they are not so far apart in strength, that is in scaling. Because if they are so far apart, like putting Shikamaru with his insane battle IQ against Goku is pointless. Is 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 battle like you will do absolutely nothing against Goku. So yeah, but battle like in a closer matchup like Shikamaru versus let me say somebody like uh outside Naruto verse Shikamaru versus somebody like Yuji Tadori in JJK, not module now before you guys come for any in JJK. His battle IQ can help him before Yuji got domain expansion and shit like that. His battle IQ can help him win that fight. Especially since Yuji can't fly, so his shadow will always be on the ground and stuff like that. So yeah, battle IQ can always grant a chance of winning. So if you check the five categories I mentioned are things that can grant a character the chance to win. So these are the five most important categories when power scaling for cross versus battle or inverse. Then the things I don't agree with in the current power scaling community and I will not be using in my videos. First thing is pixel scaling. I don't have any problem with people using pixel scaling. If you want to use pixel scaling, please do. But I will not use it because it's based on a lot of assumptions. Based on yeah, sure, the author gave us a size of the characters sometimes. Then you can use the size, you pixel, calc the panel to the size of the character and shit like that. But you don't know how wide apart the author was thinking these two characters are. So you can't really get the exact numbers. So pixel scaling is a no for me because it's heavily based on assumptions. You can use it. I might use it when like uh, complete figures are given per se. Like the author gave the distance between this character and that character, their height, the size of the building they are in. Like all the sizes need to be completely given for me to use pixel scaling. Well, Toriko is a good place to use pixel scaling because most of those things are given, but like it's not just. I don't advise people to use pixel scaling as power scaling because it creates a lot of fake scaling. People use it a lot to wank characters or to reduce how strong the character actually is. Another thing is data books. Just you won't catch me using a data book. I will not be using any supplementary material that is not part of the story. Like let's be real here. Data books are not part of the story. They are meant to tell you about a character, their favorite food, what they do when they sleep, how they sleep, how many times they bathe in a day and shit like that. That's literally what data books are for. Then, but all of a sudden, people start using them and explaining power abilities. Yes, data books are used to explain abilities, sure. But the moment people start using the data books to justify why a character should be so and so, and the manga itself is completely disagreeing with the data book because the fits in the manga do not align with what the data book is saying, then that's just, yeah, you're just coping in order to allow your character get your character up. So data books, I don't agree with the usage of data books in power scaling. I won't be using it. Sure, there are some times when you can use it to like get more understanding of certain things like the height of characters, their weights, the weight of things around. Like in case there's a lifting strength feat you want to know, you can check the data book. But like using it to power scale and taking it as a fact, taking everything you see inside it as a fact and fighting people with it online, it's crazy. It's crazy. Then another thing I will not be using is non-canon source material. Non-canon source material, that is in the sense of it wasn't written by the author at all. Anything that was not written by the author himself, I'm not touching it. I have no reason to touch it. I'll just focus on only the I only be power scaling anything written by the author. Anything not written by the author, I will not be adding it. Of course, there are some verses where there are multiple authors, so it's kind of like Fate series now, where Nasu is the actual creator of the Fate universe, but like there are other authors with their own entries into the Fate franchise. So I'll have to like selectively pick the Fate franchise I want to power scale and stuff like that. But like anything that is not written by them. So what I'm trying to point out is movies per se, because a lot of people, non-canon movies especially, a lot of people like using movies to power scale, except something in that movie is confirmed by the author himself to be in the main story. Forget about it. Except that movie is confirmed by the author to be canon to the story itself. Forget about it. Except that filler is confirmed by the author to be canon to the story itself. Forget about it. I'm not going to use it. I'm not going to use any feat or anything inside there, any statement from those things. I think the only series that may get a pass for this is My Hero Academia Vigilantes, because Vigilantes is actually not written by Horikoshi, but it is a canon prequel to My Hero Academia, because it's a story of what happened before MHA main storyline. So it can be taken the feats of certain characters like All Mind's Endeavor and some and Eraserhead and Lady Midnight that appeared in it can be taken as canon because it's literally a story of before. He has a lot of input in it, so but he didn't write it, but I'll give it the leverage due to the fact that it is part of the original canon story. It's the prequel, literally the prequel to the main story. Then the last thing I need to point this out. Let me just say something though. Just because something is called light doesn't mean it's light speed. I'll keep repeating this thing in almost my videos. Just because something is called light doesn't mean it's light speed. You have to check. You have to check because a lot of people are, I'm sure a lot of people are still angry about what I said. If they are still in this video up to this moment, but anything called light does not equal light speed. You have to check the properties and check the statements that refer to that thing as light speed. The biggest example is Kizaru literally telling Basil Hawkins, have you been kicked at the speed of light before? Now that's a straightforward statement. Speed of light. And we know he's not capping because Kizaru is a light man. Literally a light man. He eats the light devil fruit or the glint devil fruit, whatever you want to call it. So he says that he knows what he's saying. His base form is light speed. Of course, here comes the haters, but it is what it is. That's just it. The statement needs to be there of light speed. If the statement is not there, it has to be natural light. it has to be natural light or mechanical light, that is light from laser cannons per se, technologically created laser beams or light from the sun if you want to use the sun. But some people try to like wank some shit from the sun and say it's well, like dodge sunlight, bro. You're not dodging it, you're just shifting from the shade. Yeah, or you're shifting from where the sun is to the shade. Yes, some people already know what I'm talking about. But anyways, creation fits is the fourth thing I do not agree with as an attack potency. The current power scaling community have been doing something that disgusts me, which is I was doing it before, funny enough, but when I started thinking about it, started contemplating, put some thoughts together, I was like, yeah, that shit makes no sense because if I can create, yeah, somebody will say, but it's not like making a gun with tools, you're creating it out of nothing. Are you really creating or you're transmuting? That's something people are, the moment you start talking about creation, you're looking at transmutation sometimes. It's not really creation because people are transmuting energy that is already existing in the air into something else. They're not really creating from absolutely nothing per se. It's not some Dragon Ball bullshit where granting wish from absolutely nothing. They are transmutating. A lot of the time, people are transmutating. They're not really creating things. So taking it just because there's an energy output while creation feats are being done doesn't mean that energy output used in creation should be taken as attack potency. It's not an attack. Like I said before, a single attack is what determines attack potency. Attack, it's literally in the name. I don't know why people carry creation feats because of the energy output and then equalize it to attack potency. It doesn't work that way. You can create shit, sure. That doesn't tell us anything about how hard you can hit. That doesn't tell us anything about how durable you are, how much heat you can take. That doesn't tell us how fast you are because you created a universe in an instant. Somebody will say it's instantaneous or it has an infinite speed. Like, bro, no, no. If we're talking about your combat speed, how fast can you throw a blow? How fast can you run? How like travel speed? I did forget to mention those things when I was talking about speed. So in speed category, you have travel speed, combat speed, reaction speed, and flight speed. I'm glad I remembered now that I'm talking about this stuff. So travel speed is literally covering a longer distance. So how fast the character moving when they cover a long distance. Combat speed is literally how fast the character is able to throw a punch, kick someone, or like it's completely based on their physical stats. That is their own physical attacks and the likes. While continuous combat speed is how long they can keep up that speed. That is how long they can keep that combat speed in a fight. Then you have reaction speed, which is literally reaction speed. How fast they're able to react to things that are coming their way, either it be somebody's blows or kicks or attacks or whatever. Then you have attack speed, which is still can be in combat speed if the person is attacking with their physical body, but if the person is attacking with like a magic spell, an energy beam or the likes, that will be under attack speed, not combat speed. Because somebody can have a fast attack speed but a slow combat speed. That is their own physical stats is shite, but their attacks, that is their energy beams, their magical spells are way way faster than them. King is another example again. Although King is fast, which is weird. So well, he's fast when he's flying, so that's like flight speed. Then there's flight speed, which is literally covering a distance while flying. Or for some characters like Shinra and Superman that literally fight while they fly, their flight speed and their combat speed are almost literally the same thing because they fight while flying. So then there's teleportation, which is not speed because you're not covering a distance. That's the most important thing about speed, covering a distance physically. Teleportation, you're not covering a distance physically, you're just jumping the distance and getting somewhere else. So using teleportation for combat speed is dumb. Period. Okay. Let's get back on track. I strayed off a lot talking about the speed stuff, which I was meant to do in the speed category. But anyways, my point still remains I will not, I do not and will not take creation feats as attack potency because, like I mentioned earlier, it's mainly transmutation. It's not really creating anything from absolutely zero because there is energy everywhere, and most of these creation feats are being done from the character's own energy. So it's literally transmutating their own energy into a different thing, that is into whatever they are creating. So it's a hacks, it's an ability, it's a broken ability because there are characters who have more energy than that character. There is more energy reserves, but they can't transmutate their own energy into physical objects. So they don't have the ability to create. And another thing is your creation feats do not tell us anything about how hard you can hit, like I said earlier. It doesn't tell us anything about your attack potential. It doesn't tell us how much of that same energy you use in creation you can be translated into your attacks. We don't know anything about that. All we know is you can create, so it doesn't give us an idea of how hard you can hit or how much your attacks can destroy, or if you can even release that same amount of energy into your attacks. The only form of creation per se I would take is creation caused by an attack. For example, All Might creating, literally changing the weather. Some characters have the ability to create clouds and cause rain to fall. All Might created the clouds through a single punch. The single punch caused clouds to be created. So that kind of situation now, it's not really the creation feat people are usually using to turn into attack potency. It is attack potency that caused the creation. So if your attack is able to cause a creation, that is, your blows are so powerful that they literally cause a big bang and form a universe instead of you just snapping and the universe is formed. Now, now except your snap is an attack. So it has to be an attack that leads to the creation. So if you are blowing so hard that your attack is creating a mountain, you are blowing so hard your attack is creating a planet, you are blowing your attacks are so powerful that they end up creating something. That's the only time you can really say creation equals attack potency. If not, if it's just I have so much energy, I can create a universe, I can create a this, not from an attack. As long as it's not from an attack, your creation can never be equal to your attack potency. So that's that. So yeah, let's go to the next. The fifth thing I will not be doing in my any of my videos is cross verse equalization. That is energy equalization, or whatever you, however you want to define it. I will not be doing it in any of my videos. I do not agree with verse equalization because it creates an unfair advantage for one character against another character. Let's say you do cross verse equalization for Asta, with that is for Black Clover versus JJK. Asta automatically just goes through the whole verse because one is already stronger than them. Two, now he just counters all their abilities because every cost technique is created from cost energy. So now that mana is equal to cost energy, Asta will just negate every cost technique. So it's just an unfair advantage. People that love doing that shit do it on purpose because it enables their favorite character to beat Goku. Let's be honest. Most people do verse equalization just so that their favorite character can get their hacks ability to work outside their verse, like Genjutsu, domain expansion, anti magic, and some other vest-based hacks like I talked about. I was meant to also add this to the hack section, but I added this to this section where I'm talking about things I will not be doing on the channel. So yeah. Anyways, so yeah, that's everything for this video. I will be listing out the animes that I'm going to be scaling different animes. I've divided them into three different categories. Magical based verses, that is like the Seven Deadly Sins, the Black Clover, Magai, magical based verses. Then biologically based verses, that is verses where the characters, their abilities are based on their biology. 100% their biology, no energy, no mana, which is for magic, no energy, which is like ki, chi. It's just physically based, like it is biological in them. Like My Hero Academia, quirks are biological changes to the body. You have devil fruit powers in One Piece are biological since they change the DNA of the person and stuff like that. You have government cells which are biological from Toriko. You have There are a lot of series with biological stuff. Ben 10 is biological. Ben 10 is biological. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle is biological. Those type of series that the whole thing is based on the biology of the character. Their power system is based on the biology of the character. Martial arts series, some like Baki, which doesn't really have an energy system per se, can be classified into biological. I need to read Baki properly though. So energy based versus, which is the third category where I'll classify the series I'm going to power scale. The thing is, One Piece also falls under energy based due to Haki. So I might put One Piece in energy based due to how important Haki has been recently in the story. But I'm trying to lean towards biological to place One Piece in biological. So I might end it in biological and have it also among the biological series. I'll be power scaling and have it also start the energy based series. So I'm only going to like basket half of One Piece and do the other half in the energy section. Depending how I'm still going to think of that later on. But energy versus, of course, you have Dragon Ball Ki, you have Yu Yu Hakusho, Spirit Energy, which is, I think they call it Chi there. All the weird names. There's Ryatsu, there's Chakra, Ryatsu from Bleach, there's Chakra from Naruto, there's Nen from Hunter. There is Cost Energy from JJK. I'm trying to just ensure you get the grabs the idea of the three categories I'll be power scaling. The animes in those categories: magical, biological, and energy based versus. So yeah, and JoJo is kind of weird because stands per se are their stands are like manifestation of the spirit. So the spirit of a person. So they are not energy per se, but I'll keep JoJo Bizarre Adventure in energy based versus due to the very first entry of the series, that is JoJo Part 1 and Part 2 being Harmon based. So they are energy based. I'll keep it as energy based verse because Harmon still kind of appeared later on in what's it called in part 3 through Joseph Joestar. He still used Harmon once in part 3. Part 4 there was no Harmon at all. Part 5 there was no Harmon. Part 6 there was no Harmon. So the energy based system kind of disappeared. Part 7 there was a different type of energy, which is like this rotation energy. I don't want to spoil too much about that because part 7 is coming out soon, so people will see what I'm talking about. Part 8 too, I don't think part 8 also has energy, so it's weird for JoJo, but I'll keep it in the energy based energy category, energy based power system category, due to you can just say stands as spirit, bro. Mm, Except, okay, I know what I'll do. I'm just going to split JoJo apart. So I'll do a power scaling for different parts of JoJo. So JoJo part 1 and 2 will be in the energy based power system. Then JoJo part 3 through down to part 8 will be in biological base because the power stem is literally just is caused biologically. Exactly. Now that works better because stands are created from the arrow or whatever. So and they are inherited considering the Joestar family. The moment Josuke's body Jonathan's body got pierced with the arrow and got a stand, the rest of the family got affected and got a stand because they inherited it from him now. So it's mainly biological. Yeah, it's mainly biological. So part 3 through 8 will be in the biological section. Then part 1 and 2 will be in the energy section due to hormone. By the way, I will not start power scaling immediately. I'll be doing some other type of videos based on like TikTok stuff challenges people are talking about and crossverse battles. For now, I will start power scaling properly like in July after I've reread all the series in the list of mangas, manhwas, and cartoons and animes. I'll be power scaling in the magical section since that is going to be the first. So I'll first have to reread and read some for the first time so that I have a full grasp of exactly what I am saying. I don't want to say bullshit. So I have to reread. I ensure I always read my stories before I talk on them. I don't talk on what I have not read myself. So yeah, I'm going to spend like the next 3 months or four, April, May, June, then July or August. Between July or August, I will start power scaling properly because by then I should be done with reading everything in the magical section. I'm looking at done with reading and watching because I will be watching some cartoons for the magical section that week. Well, anyways, yeah, that's all for this video and welcome to the channel.